Hawaii. At the beginning of the 21st century, Polynesia only had four independent island groups: Kiribati, Samoa, Tonga, and Tuvalu. The rest of the many islands and island groups in Polynesia are claimed by or under the control or jurisdiction of other countries, mainly the United States, France, Great Britain, or New Zealand. Hawaii was a sovereign and independent kingdom from 1810 to 1893, when the monarchy was overthrown and the islands became a republic that was annexed as U.S. territory. Hawaii became the 50th United States state in 1959. Hawaii's development pattern is modern, based on tourism from the continental United States and the U.S. military base on Pearl Harbor. According to the U.S. Census, Hawaii had a population of 1.4 million in 2020. More than one-third of the people are of Asian descent, and at least 10% are native Hawaiians or Pacific Islanders. The United States has a number of additional possessions in Polynesia that include various small islands, atolls, or uninhabited reefs. The Hawaiian Islands include more islands than the few usually listed in tourist brochures. Approximately 137 islands and atolls are in the Hawaiian chain, which extends about 1,500 miles. Hawaii is one of the most remote island groups in the Pacific. The islands of the Hawaiian archipelago are a product of volcanic activity from an undersea magma source called a hotspot, which remains stationary as the tectonic plate over it continues to shift, creating new volcanoes. Mount Kilauea is an active volcano on Hawaii, the largest island in the Hawaiian chain. It is considered by geologists to be one of the most active volcanoes in the world. The active volcano of Mauna Loa and two dormant volcanoes, Mauna Kea and Hualalai, are on the same island. Mauna Kea is Hawaii's tallest mountain at 13,796 feet above sea level, which is taller than Mount Everest if measured from its base on the ocean floor. Hawaii, like most islands of the Pacific realm, has a tropical Type A climate, but snow can be found on the tops of its highest mountains during the winter months. The island of Kauai receives more than 460 inches of rain per year and is one of the wettest places on Earth. The rain shadow effect created by Mount Wailele is the reason for the high level of precipitation. All the rain falls on the windward side of the mountain, creating a rain shadow on the leeward side of the mountain, which is a semi-desert. Kiribati. Kiribati includes three sets of islands located in both Micronesia and Polynesia. It is considered one of the least developed countries in the world. The main component of Kiribati is the Gilbert Island chain in Micronesia, where the capital city and most of the population are located. The other two minor island chains are the Phoenix Islands and the Line Islands in Polynesia. Both island chains were U.S. possessions before being annexed with the Gilbert Islands to become Kiribati. The Line Islands were used for testing of British hydrogen bombs starting in 1957. 3 atmospheric nuclear tests were conducted by the British on Malden Island, and 6 were conducted on Christmas Island. There is concern about how radiation affected people present during the tests and thereafter. The Phoenix Islands have few inhabitants. In 2008, Kiribati declared the entire island group a protected environmental area, which made it the largest protected marine habitat in the world. Kiribati is the only country with land in all 4 hemispheres, the north and south of the equator, and on both sides of the 180-degree meridian. Until recently, the people of Kiribati mostly lived in villages, with populations between 50 and 3,000 on the outer islands. Most houses are made of materials obtained from coconut and pandanus trees. Frequent droughts and infertile soil hinder reliable large-scale agriculture, so the islanders have largely turned to the sea for livelihood and subsistence. Most are outrigger sailors and fishermen. Copra, or coconut plantations, serve as a second source of employment. Samoa. After the colonial era, Samoa was divided into Western Samoa and Eastern Samoa. The United States controlled the eastern islands, which are referred to as American Samoa. Before World War I, Germany gained control of the larger, more extensive western islands, only to lose them to New Zealand after the war. Western Samoa was under the New Zealand government until 1962 when it gained independence. The name was officially changed from Western Samoa to Samoa in 1997. The Samoan Islands are volcanic, and the most active volcano last erupted in 1906. In Samoa, 3/4 of the nearly 200,000 people live on the larger of the two main islands. Samoa forms part of the Samoan tropical moist forests ecoregion. Since human habitation began, about 80% of the lowland rainforests have disappeared. Colonialism has had a major impact on the culture, especially in the case of religion. Christianity became widespread once it was introduced and is now the religion of about 99% of the population. American music and societal trends are also a major influence on the islands because of migration between Hawaii and the U.S. mainland. Many Samoans have moved to the United States and established communities. Cultural traditions have been preserved and are often integrated into modern society. Samoa has some of the oldest history and traditions of Polynesia. Some Samoans live in a communal way, participating in activities collectively. Examples of this are the traditional Samoan fele, or houses, which are open with no walls, using blinds made of coconut palm fronds during the night or bad weather. As with other Polynesian cultures, Samoans have two gender-specific and culturally significant tattoos. For many years, the United States has held an extensive naval station in the Bay of Pago Pago on American Samoa. During World War II, there were more U.S. military personnel on the islands than Samoans. American Samoa became a key military post for the United States. American Samoa remains a U.S. possession. However, Samoans are not U.S. citizens unless one of their parents is a U.S. citizen. Tonga. South of Samoa is an archipelago that is home to the Kingdom of Tonga. Only about 35 of the 169 islands are inhabited by a total population of about 120,000 people. Tonga is ruled by a monarchy that never lost its governance powers through the colonial era. Tonga is the only monarchy in the Pacific. The two main methods of gaining wealth are by remittances from citizens working abroad and tourism. Tuvalu. The island nation of Tuvalu comprises 4 reef islands and 5 atolls for a total land area of about 10 square miles. In 2008, it had a population of about 12,000 people. These statistics indicate that Tuvalu is one of the 4 smallest countries in the world. Nauru is only about 8 square miles in area. Only the Vatican and Monaco are smaller. The low elevation of the islands of Tuvalu make them susceptible to damage from rising sea levels. The highest point is only 15 feet in elevation. Any increase in ocean levels as a result of climate change could threaten the existence of this country. The cuisine of Tuvalu is based on the staple of coconut and the many species of fish found in the ocean and the lagoons of the atolls. Desserts made on the island include coconut and coconut milk rather than animal milk. Tuvaluans also eat seafood, including coconut crab and fish from the lagoon and ocean. Another traditional food source is seabirds. Flying fish are also caught as a source of food and as an exciting activity using a boat, a butterfly net, and a spotlight to attract the flying fish. Rainwater harvesting is the principal source of fresh water in Tuvalu. Nukufetu, Vaitpu, and Nanumea are the only islands with sustainable groundwater supplies. The effectiveness of rainwater harvesting is diminished because of poor maintenance of roofs, gutters, and pipes. Tuvalu is working to implement composting toilets. The traditional community system still survives to a large extent on Tuvalu. Each family has its own task, or salanga, to perform for the community, such as fishing, house building, or defense. The skills of a family are passed on from parents to children. French Polynesia. The South Pacific is home to many islands and island groups that are not independent countries. The biggest and most significant group in the southern region is French Polynesia. France colonized a number of islands in the South Pacific and has continued to hold them in its control or possession as external departments or colonies. In western Polynesia, the French maintained control over the islands of Wallis and Futuna. French Polynesia consists of four main island groups: the Society Islands, the Austral Islands, the Tuamotu Islands, and the Marquesas. There are around 130 islands in French Polynesia, and many are too small or lack resources to be inhabited. Tahiti, located in the Society Islands, is the central hub of French Polynesia. Papeete is the capital and main city with a population of almost 30,000. Tahiti is a major tourist destination with a mild climate that stays at 75 degrees to 85 degrees Fahrenheit year round and receives adequate rainfall to sustain tropical forests. Most of the people live along the coastal areas. The interior is almost uninhabited. The Society Islands include the island of Bora Bora, which is considered by many to be a tropical paradise and one of the most exotic tourist destinations in the world. The volcanic Marquesas Islands to the northeast are the second most remote islands in the world after the Hawaiian Islands. The weather pattern in the Pacific does not bring enormous amounts of precipitation to the Marquesas, a reality that restricts human expansion in the archipelago. The higher elevations in the mountains, the highest is 4,035 feet, draw some precipitation from the rain shadow effect, giving rise to lush rainforests on portions of the island. With less than 10,000 people, the Marquesas do not have a large population to support and rely on financial support from the outside to sustain them. French painter Paul Gauguin is buried there, and the islands are remembered as his home during the last years of his life. The Austral Islands are the southernmost group of islands in French Polynesia and are home to only 6,500 people. French Polynesia also includes the Tuamotu archipelago, between the Society Islands and the Marquesas, which comprises about 75 atolls and an uncounted number of coral reefs that extend for about 900 miles. The islands have a population of fewer than 20,000 people, and the main economic activity is the cultivation of black pearls and coconuts. The French government used islands in the Tuamotu archipelago as test sites for nuclear weapons. From 1966 to 1974, the French tested 41 atomic devices above ground in the atmosphere, and from 1974 to 1996, they tested 137 atomic devices below ground. Radiation concerns are the same here as they are on the Marshall Islands, where the United States tested atomic weapons. Scientific testing monitored by the World Health Organization has determined the humans living closest to the atolls are not presently in danger of radioactive materials, either in the environment or in their food supply. The long-term effects of the underground tests continue to be monitored. The Pitcairn Islands, Easter Islands, and the Cook Islands. To the east of French Polynesia are the four Pitcairn Islands, controlled by Great Britain. The main island, Pitcairn, is the only inhabited island in this chain and is one of the least inhabited islands in the world. The total population is fewer than 50 people. Mutineers from the HMS Bounty escaped to Pitcairn in 1790 after taking various Tahitians with them. Even farther east than Pitcairn, on the edge of Polynesia, is Easter Island. Now under the government of Chile, Easter Island was historically inhabited by Polynesians who built large stone heads that remain somewhat a mystery. Cook Islands. At the center of Polynesia are 15 small Cook Islands, which are controlled by New Zealand and are home to about 20,000 people, many of whom claim Maori ethnicity. Key takeaways. Melanesia includes the islands from Papua New Guinea to Fiji. Micronesia includes small islands located north of Melanesia. Polynesia includes island groups from the Hawaiian Islands to the Pitcairn Islands. Papua New Guinea is the largest country in the Pacific. Approximately 700 languages are spoken by the many local groups that live there. Low islands in this region are usually composed of coral and low in elevation. High islands are usually volcanic in origin and mountainous with high elevations. Micronesia consists mainly of low islands, while Polynesia consists of many islands, such as Hawaii. Tourism is the main economic activity in the Pacific, but minerals and fossil fuels provide some islands with additional wealth. Fishing and subsistence agriculture have been the traditional livelihoods. Offshore banking has also been established in the region. The United States, the United Kingdom, and France use various islands for nuclear testing. Radiation fallout continues to be an environmental concern. Typhoons, tsunamis, volcanic activity, earthquakes, and floods create devastation on the islands. Fresh water can be a valuable resource as it is in short supply on many islands.